In 1933, Hitler rose to power and turned Germany into a dictatorship. August Landmesser, a name not as widely recognized as Hitler or Churchill, was an ordinary man working in the shipyards of Hamburg, Germany. Landmesser's life took a dramatic turn as the Nazi Party rose to power. Germany in the 1930s was a nation in turmoil, grappling with economic depression and political instability. However, not everyone was swayed by their rhetoric. There were those, like August Landmesser, who saw through the facade of unity and sensed the looming darkness. The Nazi Party's ascent to power cast a long shadow over Germany. Adolf Hitler and his party capitalized on this desperation, skillfully manipulating the masses with their message of national unity and a return to greatness. One of the Nazis' key strategies was to systematically dismantle any opposition and consolidate their power. Fear became a potent weapon, silencing dissent and creating an atmosphere of compliance. Amid this oppressive atmosphere, August Landmesser found himself increasingly at odds with the prevailing ideology. His personal life further complicated matters. He had fallen in love with Irma Eckler, a Jewish woman. It was June 13th, 1936. The Blohm plus Voss shipyard in Hamburg was buzzing with activity. A new vessel, the German Navy training ship Horst Wessel, was about to be launched, and a large crowd had gathered to witness the event. The Nazi salute, a gesture synonymous with Hitler and the Third Reich, was a mandatory greeting in Nazi Germany. It involved raising the right arm and saying, "Heil Hitler." Soon after the Nazis seized power, the salute became a symbol of loyalty and submission. While it was widely adopted in public settings, its use in private life was less prevalent and declined over time. To enforce compliance, the Nazis established special courts that punished those who refused to perform the salute. These punishments ranged from imprisonment in concentration camps to fines and intimidation. Despite these harsh measures, some individuals defied the Nazi regime. One notable example is August Landmesser, who publicly refused to salute at a Nazi event. As the ceremony commenced, the crowd erupted in a sea of raised arms, performing the Nazi salute. But amidst this display of loyalty and conformity, one man stood out. August Landmesser, with a look of quiet defiance on his face, kept his arms firmly crossed, refusing to perform the salute, as Landmesser was opposed to the Nazis and their racial view. Captured in a photograph that would later become iconic, Landmesser's act of defiance, though silent, spoke volumes. This seemingly small act of resistance was an act of incredible bravery in Nazi Germany, where disobedience could have deadly consequences. In 1931, he joined the Nazi Party, hoping it would help him get employment, and in 1935, when he became engaged to Irma Eckler, a Jewish woman, he was expelled from the party. Landmesser's love for Irma Eckler was a beacon of light in the encroaching darkness. Their relationship, deemed illegal and morally reprehensible by the Nazi regime, as Eckler was a Jewish woman. The couple refused to be bound by the dictates of a government that sought to control every aspect of their lives, including their love. On the 29th of October 1935, Landmesser and Eckler's first daughter was born. Their defiance, however, came at a steep price. Landmesser lost his job. In 1937, faced with mounting pressure and threats, Landmesser and Eckler attempted to flee to Denmark but were apprehended at the border. He was acquitted on the 27th of May 1938 for lack of evidence, with the warning that a repeat offence would result in a multi-year prison sentence. The couple publicly continued their relationship, and on the 15th of July 1938, Landmesser was arrested again and sentenced to 2.5 years in the Borgermoor concentration camp. Eckler was detained by the Gestapo and held at the prison, where she gave birth to their second daughter. She was sent to various concentration camps, enduring horrific conditions. Irma was ultimately murdered, along with 14,000 other prisoners in 1942 in concentration camp. In the course of post-war documentation in 1949, she was pronounced legally dead. Meanwhile, Landmesser was discharged from prison and worked as a foreman for the haulage company. In February 1944, he was drafted into a penal battalion. Penal battalion is the generic term for penal units that were created from prisoners during the Second World War. Soldiers, criminals and civilians sentenced to those units were generally poorly armed and required to undertake dangerous, high-casualty missions. After fighting in Croatia on the 17th of October 1944, he was declared killed in action. Like Eckler, he was declared legally dead in 1949. Initially, their children, one daughter, were taken to the city orphanage and the other went to the home of foster parents. The marriage of August Landmesser and Irma Eckler was recognized retroactively by the Senate of Hamburg in the summer of 1951. By remembering Landmesser and those like him, we honor their memory and ensure that their sacrifices were not in vain.